Welcome to this video from Engineered in Stitches. This is the second one of the videos about making this little mug rug. In the first one I showed you how to embellish the basic design using my design centre on a Brother machine. This one is actually how to make the mug rug, and it will do even if you haven't got the fancy Brother machine, because I have put some quilting to it and included it in the pack, so anybody can use it provided they have a hoop with an embroidery area of 130mm by 180. So hopefully that's just about everybody nowadays. You will see that I've stitched the first colour and used it to stitch down a piece of wadding, as thick or thin as you like, and that's stitched down to my tearaway stabiliser, which is what I always use. It's marked out the rectangle, I've trimmed away the extra wadding around the edges, and it's marked a strip down the middle. I'm going to cover that strip with a piece of fabric like that. It covers it all the way round, quite generously actually, but it's a scrap that I wanted to use up. And the next colour, when we stitch it, we'll stitch that in place. Right, now we need to cover the two triangular sections, and these need to be slightly bigger pieces of fabric than it looks as if you do. What I've got here is a square, about 15cm square, cut in half, and we use 1/2 here. Move that up a bit. We stitch that down. It will stitch just inside that line that held the strip down. We'll stitch that down, and we flip that over, and it's coming ready to do the other side. If you've got a strip as wide as this, I think you'll probably want to trim some of that off, but you don't want to watch me do that, so I shall carry on regardless. Just checking underneath to see where the stitching line will be. I don't want to leave too much of this fabric in the seam, because if you do that, it might not be big enough to cover the area. If you haven't tried this method of doing patchwork before, you'll find that it's really simple, because you don't have to measure your pieces of material accurately and have accurate seam allowances, because the machine will do it all for you. Now at this stage you can take this to the ironing board and just give it a press if you like, but I'm not going to bother doing that. The next colour will stitch an outline, just to hold everything in place. And there's the basic mug rug put together. The next few stitch lines are the quilting. If you're going to use my quilting, it's very simple. If you're going to use your own fancy one, more complex. If you want to leave the centre strip without quilting and put a design in, that's really simple. You can do that off your machine's edit screen. Just remember that if it's a nice long thin design like a name or something like that, it will need to be tilted at an angle of 45 degrees so that it is symmetrical between those two lines, and then it will look really lovely. When I've done the quilting, I shall give this an envelope back. I think that's the easiest way to do it. That means you put a piece of fabric on with a hem pressed, just pressed, along one edge, and I can just see where the stitch line will be for the outline, and then I cover that edge up with another piece of fabric, and that'll be the one underneath. That doesn't need a hem or anything like that. And then when that's finished, you can you'll turn it through, and you can either stick that with some of that stuff for hemming, or you can use some stitches. You can use a slip stitch to slip stitch it along. If you would prefer to have one that you turn through and stitch a gap, you can stitch the outline and leave a bit of a gap to turn it through. But I think this envelope method gives a slightly neater finish. I think that's just about everything. So good luck, and my challenge to you for spring is to make this mug rug your own. I don't want it to look like mine, and I don't want it to look like anybody else's. So please do that and show me a picture, and I'm really looking forward to seeing